friends, welcome back to the session of communication. Today I am going to discuss about communication networks, that how communication takes place through different channels in any organization. There is not only one network that is being followed in any organization to function effectively. There are different channels of communication or networks that works as per the structure of the organization. So, what are those networks? So, there are 6 kind of communication networks that can exist in any organization depending on the structure. The first is, for example, single or stranded communication, wire network communication, wheel network communication, circular network communication, all channel network or social network. Social network is a recent channel of communication which has a very important role of technology in making the organization more effective and functional. So, we will discuss one by one that how each network functions in any organization. The single strand or chain communication, it is also known as chain communication, as it is very much understandable on the slide that how this chain communication works. So, it is about there is a chain of managers that exist in the structure and information will flow from one person to the another, right from A to B, B to C and C to D. So, there is a hierarchy that A is the senior manager, B manager, C assistant manager and D is the management trainee. So, D is the lowest level of management in this strand and communication will flow from A, who is the leader of the group, and will flow till D. So, under this type of communication pattern, information flows from the person to the next person in the network as per the structure, and the leader decides that what information has to be shared or transferred from one person to another. So, every time the leader has that authority to decide that what amount and at what time that information has to be shared from B, C and D. It will transfer accordingly. Although the network is very slow and the communication process is linear, because once information has reached A, it will only go to first of all B and then C. It will never go to A to C and or B to D. There is linearity in the process of communication and it is a slow process to transfer knowledge. So, this is the disadvantage of or shortfall of this kind of communication, but maybe certain organizations information will flow effectively through this kind of network only. So, this is single strand or chain communication. The other is wheel network, but yes, to mention, in this single strand A is only connected to B, B is only connected to C and C is only connected to D. So, connection is breaching or it is breaking from every point and then the information is flowing. And in wheel network, A is the central authority, he is the leader who has all the information and the information is flowing from leader to every spoke of the wheel. So, A is the manager or we can say leader and B, C, D, E, they are the subordinates who are the spokes and every information will flow from A to B, A to E, A to D and A to C. So, A is in the loop of communication with every other subordinate. So, the information flows from the leader to the end of the each spoke. Now, here each spoke is B, C, D, E and manager, that is the A, is the central authority and controls the lines of communication. So, here A, the leader, has his own authority and in what amount of information can be shared with every spoke, every subordinate. So, this is the advantage that exists in this kind of network where A has more advantage when transferring information and communicating the whole process of information. Circular network, this communication is a form of group exchange that builds network of relationship and a sense of community. So, here all the employees can directly contact with each other. So, there is a sense of community, people tend to communicate information in a sense of rotation and there are relationships and a sense of community. Their information is shared based on active listening, intentional speaking and conscious self monitoring. And circle communication emphasizes individual contribution while building consensus to fulfill purpose of the group. So, in this circle communication, sharing is there, at the same time active listening is also there. People's ideas are being patiently listened by every member of the group and they tend to have a sense of community and people build consensus. If any member has proposed a better idea, members will tend to comply with that idea or decision. So, that fulfills the sense of community. In this kind of network, information is shared equally with the adjoining members. So, no information is hidden from any member, because there is something that flows in the circle from one person to another, and there is a cross sharing of the information. So, every member has equal amount of information through the one authority. This is circular network. This is Y network. As the picture depicts, A is the leader, A is connected to C and D, and A is connected to B. But C, D and B are not connected to each other. They are isolated in their own way. They have no idea about that what information C, D and A possess through A, but A is transferring all the information to the respective subordinates. So, this is the main person, that is A is the main person who communicates or transfers information to C, B, C and D. In this network, the leader can easily communicate with both superiors. C and D are superiors and B is also superior, but the superiors are not able to communicate with A. So, it all depends on the structure and the kind of communication that is more beneficial to the organization. This is Y network. So, in this kind of network, the leader can easily communicate with both superiors and subordinates, although C, D and B are isolates and can only communicate to A. So, there is a personalized communication among all the members. This is Y network communication. The other is all channel network. This is the most common form of communication network in organizations, especially in this time because of globalization, where all the members tend to transfer information, and the information also flows upward, downward, horizontally and vertically within the group. So, it is like one can share information with 3, 3 can share the information with 2, horizontally, vertically, upward and downward. So, this kind of pattern of communication supports another positive aspects of communication, that is the communication pattern is egalitarian, that is equal and unrestricted, and it fosters participative culture and cross functional efforts. When people are approaching to each and every person within the network, so there is sense of equality, because every person must be having equal amount of information. They have more eagerness to share information with the other person, and there is a sense of cross functionality and participative culture. There is more participation of members because they are more loaded with information. When we are talking about this network, the major advantage of this kind of network is that it allows brainstorming and collaboration. Members collaborate, they tend to correlate with each other, and there are more ideas that evolve because of overloading of the information with each member of the network. This is all channeled network. This is one of the most conducive form of network that exists in any organization, especially in the present times because of global competition. And the last and the latest is social network. This is about creating or establishing professional connections within organizations and between organizations, and are designed for establishing business relationship. So, there are different kind of networks that exist. For example, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Rover, Airbnb and many more. These networks also exist in form of different apps, and how people tend to communicate or tend to build relationships or expand their relationships based on social networking. This is role of technology when we talk about communication network. Such networks can be used to make professional contacts, enhance existing business plans and connections, and explore job opportunities. Such examples of social networks are LinkedIn, Microsoft Yammer, Microsoft Viva, as they represent a great opportunity and market to expand business and establish connections. Some examples of business social network websites are Yelp, Pinterest, Rover, Airbnb and many more. We can have Ola, we have different business websites, even Blinkit. These are the examples of business websites which are based on networking. A network is created between that app and the customers, and how people tend to avail services, and organizations or companies expand their businesses through customer relationship. Social networks are believed to have distinctive effects on health and well-being of employees, such as support, companionship and control. Further, social networks can be used for customer research, engagement and marketing, that is through social networking more clientele relationships are maintained, which fosters more job engagement within employees, because they are getting more customers, more clients to expand their business. They offer a way to directly connect businesses and customers. Social networks collect information about users' likes and dislikes, and accordingly organizations make changes as per the demand of the customers. So, this makes the organization more lucrative in a sense that there are more job opportunities and there is more attraction of customers. Also, this allows targeted advertising and organizations get chance to learn what people are saying about their company. Social networks can increase employee engagement and satisfaction. Also, as teams become more geographically diverse or have members working from home, private social networks can promote collaboration, information sharing and processing and recruitment strategy. So, with the change in the working style in the present scenario, that is work from home. So, social networking plays very important role to recruit people from diverse backgrounds and geographical locations, tend to hire people with more diversity, more inclusiveness is there, and people tend to have better chances to explore and learn new skills. So, this is the role of social networking or role of technology in fostering modern level of communication. This is about social network that we have discussed right now in terms of single or standard communication, wheel network, circular network, Y network communication, all channel network and social network, which is one of the most recent pattern of communication with the involvement of intense use of technology in present situation. So, we are through with this section. We will discuss about the next topic in the next video. Thank you so much.